I'm live. Another edition of Raw Light on Tuesday night. And most of you guys know that I'm here. I don't send out invitations anymore because I'm going to do it every Tuesday and Thursday night. If you show up, that's awesome. And if not, yeah, you can always catch it on the replays. No big deal. So I'm going to wait a few minutes until everybody shows up. You know that we got the full moon coming up in 2 more days. It's weird. I saw somebody and they were talking today about that. There's the if you're in Europe, it's actually uh, March 2nd, but if you're here in the United States, it's March 1st. So hey, I don't know the timelines, but that's the way it works. So hi Belinda, hi Annika, hey Sherry, Stacy, uh, everybody. God, this sometimes it gets going so fast. Hey Arlene, Patrick. Glad to see everybody coming on, and it's nice to see you guys. And I just realized my other phone's in the way. That looks weird, doesn't it? Hold on. There we go. All right, so it's not exactly a professional setup here, okay? But you guys get the gist of it. So yeah, we got the full moon coming up. So if you guys have any questions or any comments about what's coming up, because I posted it, and it's pretty cool. And oh, and please, if you would share and what's going on. And good evening. And Sherry Lynn says, "Yep, don't work about the world coming to an end today. It's already tomorrow in Australia." Exactly, right? I know. I got a friend of mine in New Zealand, and I keep forgetting he's like ahead of us, you know. And then another friend of mine who's a reader on Best Psychic Source, and he's in China, so I'm totally confused. But anyway, tonight I want to talk about spiritual correctness, and I want to tell you why. And you guys comment on this, and let me know what you think about this. So I posted it today because, or one thing today is because people don't understand that because you're spiritual, you're supposed to be like a Christian. You're supposed to be perfect. That's what my experience is with Christians. They set their own examples of what they're supposed to be, and you're supposed to follow that and be perfect. You're like a robot. But, we're all human beings. And we can have negative emotions and reactions to things, and it's perfectly normal. There is no spiritual correctness, but for God's sakes, people, when you're going to talk to me online about something, it's like, look, I understand you're on your journey. I understand I'm on my journey. And if something offends you, there's nothing I can do about it except all I can tell you is turn the page and go on to the next post. You know what I mean? So here's what I want to say. This is a precursor for what tonight's going to be about. All right? Look, I smoke. I don't have a beer with me, but look, I drink. And guess what? I used to be in the military. See? I fucking swear. And the reason I'm saying it that way is because I wanted to really get across just because of this, of, the judgment that people have against me. And I put on my post, I don't give a fuck what anybody thinks about me. It's not my responsibility for you to like me or not like me. The thing about it is that no matter how you see me, I'm real in the moment. I don't wear a mask. I don't have any regrets. And I don't, sugarcoat anything. I don't chocolate cover anything. I'm not Willy Wonka. So, but I know a lot of you guys sometimes that are going to, maybe not some of you guys that are hearing this now, but that will hear it later, is that sometimes you're hard on yourself. That it's like, oh man, I shouldn't have reacted that way, or I shouldn't have thought that, or I shouldn't have said that. you know, because it was something negative. Okay, you know, the great part of it is that you caught yourself. You're learning something, and you're going to practice more and more of not being um, so much in the reactive mode as in moving into the response mode of how people might treat you, or you know, or something you might say, or something like that. So don't be hard on yourself, and forgive yourself if you make a mistake or a boo boo. But you know, I think that's one of the reasons I've had some of you guys tell me that the reason you do listen to me and follow me and everything is because you know that I'm in Patrick, bad John, bad. But the thing is, I'm me. I'm not going to change to live up to other people's expectations. I've done that most of my all of my childhood and a large portion of my adult life, and I just refuse to do it anymore. But at the same time, you'll never meet a better friend that's more supportive or more faithful and will back you up. And I'll do anything and everything that I can to do that, because you know, sent something out today that was to my circle of friends, because they are my friends. They accept me unconditionally, they love me unconditionally, and they support me unconditionally as I do them as well. And that's what we're looking for. The one thing that I've realized is the more spiritual I get and raise my vibration and move forward in this journey, is that I'm having somewhat like-minded people come together, and they also want the same thing. They want to express love and gratitude and support, but they also know that, hey, we need each other. We need each other's support. But at the same time, excuse me, same time. At the same time, the circle seems to get, well, I mean, we're adding to the soul family, but in our tribe, but it seems to be getting smaller. You know, where some people, you know, have that extroverted type of personality that they can talk to anybody and they have a whole shitload of friends and everything else like that. I've never been that way because of the way I was raised and things, but I've seen people do that, but yet they it's just a tighter group, if you will. And you're starting to realize, I spoke to a friend of mine, excuse me, today, who's going through this very thing. And this is something else I wanted to talk about, you know, the spiritual correctness. The This young lady is following her path, and in my view, doing everything fine. Um, but her family is on her case about it in one way or another, and trying to play guilt trips, you know, in head games and stuff with her. That was in the video that I posted today about, take a look and see who your friends really are. You know, your friends are the ones that are going to want to support you and help you, but not the ones that are going to want to try to pull you back. So, yeah, we have family, but there's going to be times when you're just going to have to say, you know what? We might be related by blood, but I have other people that I'm closer to, other people that are supporting me and loving me for who I am and where I am. And it doesn't mean that you're going to excommunicate with that family unless it's extremely abusive, but you're going to set healthy boundaries and you're going to say, I'm going to live my life. If you want to be a part of it, that's fantastic. And if you don't, I'm okay with that too. Now, it's easy for me to sit here and say that because there is, you know, it pulls at the heartstrings. I get it. I mean, it really does. But with that said, guess what? I've had to do exactly the same thing um, with different members of my family and extended family and some friends. Um, Unfortunately, you know, but you have to make those choices. You can't allow someone to hold you back. If you feel everything resonating and everything is based in love and not fear, then you know that everything is right. See, the positive side is always love. So the decisions and everything that you make and your actions in life are completely done out of love. If you're doing something that is negative, then guess what? It's out of fear. And that's not where you want to go. That's not the path, that's not the fork in the road that you want to face. And so when we have family members that are working against us instead of for us or with us, then sometimes we have to make those hard choices. And it sucks. I get it. But, I'll tell you something. I talked to my mom today for the first time since Christmas. And the reason I'm saying that is because my mom and I had some differences in the past. But I find that since I've separated myself, I've given us the space, and it's become more applicable between us. You know what I mean? And it's okay. You know, of course, my mom knows that. She's my mom. I'll do what I can for her, but I have my life to live, and she's to the point now where she understands that and she's cool with it. Plus, what makes it nice is that my brother's still close to, along with my son. They live in very close to her. So, what's nice is that you know they also have their own lives. My mom's not the type to like hound anybody or anything like that. But it's like there's just this peace now. So sometimes, even though we have to go through those difficult situations and separateness, then and we stand up in our own truth for ourselves. I think that's when they kind of look at you later on and go, oh shit, okay, they're serious. This isn't some flash in the pan deal. They're doing this, and there's something that I have to respect about it. And normally that's what it boils down to. They might not agree with you, but they're going to support you in it because they respect you. Well, maybe not support, but you know what I mean. So, yeah, spiritual correctness. What do you guys think about that? What are some of the examples that you've lived through that you've had to deal with members of your family? And I'll tell you something else. There's some people here around the Pittsburgh area. I'm not going to mention families or names or anything, but they were kind of like about the same thing. Like, oh, I don't know, But well, one person I worked on who said that I didn't help actually wrote a testimonial for me. Another one that says that is like blowing it off. When you hear her talk, sometimes she's using the same verbiage, the same vocabulary that we as spiritual people do, which I thought was interesting. And those are just two of the examples. And then another person he is pretty high up in a Fortune 500 company, and he's a friend of mine on Facebook. And he doesn't say anything, but every so often I'll catch him watching my show. So it's interesting that even though they kind of like ignore you or kind of think you're weird or whatever else, they're watching. You're the living example. That's what makes it all worthwhile, because they can see the stability and everything. That's another thing. It's like, what is a spiritual person as far as correctedness? Are they the stable, secure, don't cause any waves kind of people? That's what people look for. And in today's society, in today's world, I don't believe it exists. I mean, you can lose your house because local government wants to tear it down to build a highway. You could lose your job because a company gets bought out, and then you find out you have no retirement because another company came in and bought it out. You had to pay the debts with your retirement accounts. These kinds of things. There's no such thing as security or stability in this world if you leave it up to the third dimensional thinking and the way our society is set up. Amanda says, my immediate family has nothing but negativity and BS to bring my way. I'm trying the hardest to get away, but damn. That's what I'm talking about, Amanda. You have to just stand in your own truth and really just act like a duck, you know? You just let that water roll right off of your back and not let it bother you. And if they want to bring their drama and their BS to you and their negativity and stuff, you know what? You have the strength to turn all of that around and to where it will not affect you. So, and it takes practice. Like I said, I've done that. I've had to deal with it, and I still deal with it with a select few people. And I'll tell you something else too. You got to be careful for people who say that they're spiritual and that they want to help you in all of this. You know, in the toughest of times, their character and who they truly are will come through. And if if they ignore you or they don't respond back to you for whatever reason, whatever their reason may be, then it's not really somebody I care to be around anyway. You know, because they have other things going on in their life, obviously, and I'm not supposed to be a part of it. So I could care less. You know what I mean? And that means I'm just supposed to put my attention elsewhere. Um, Perceptual differences. That would be a good title for a chapter in my book. I'll probably forget it, but it sounds good. Leslie says a lot of the religious folks are very judgy. The spiritual ones are open minded and more accepting. That's true. That's true. I wish I had it written down. It's going in my book. Here's something that I posted it not too long ago. Let me find it real quick. It's right here. A Seneca elder said that religion is believed by the common as true. It is believed as wise to the or to the wise is false, and to the rulers of the world is useful. It's just a way to control people. Always has been. You know, we've been talking about gun laws and things on the news and on Facebook and everything else lately, and all of this. And the only thing I can think of is we have no use for guns. I was in the military, so I mean, if you're a police officer or whatever, because there's some bad guys out there, but you know what? Why do we have guns unless we want to control someone else? Um, I can go either direction on that, honestly. As far as I'm concerned, from a Native American standpoint, you showed up with guns, you took everything, you controlled everything from the get go. You know, you had one up on us. So, from the history of North America, show me what good came out of guns, you know? But what I'm saying is that you have all of these ideas of what's right and what's wrong, um, and you use religion to show yourself as better than someone else, and then you force your ways onto them and try to change them. You think I'm lying? Look back in history and see how many hundreds of thousands of children were taken away from the Native American tribes, had their hair cut and put in orphanages, in schools designed only for the Native American children, ripped right from their families. Sound familiar? Yeah, because that's where Hitler got his whole idea on genocide with the Jews, was because of the way the Native Americans were treated here in the United States. It's in his memoirs. So let's go back to the comments real quick. Um, Stay optimistically driven, doing what feels right. Most definitely, Pam. Couldn't say it any better, sister. Hey, Matthew. Uh, and Amanda says they're trying to make my kids now, or my dead body. I must have missed something there. Sorry. Oops. I'm trying to do this with two phones. Seraph says do find there's some judgment in the spiritual community and don't like eat meat, don't have multiple sex partners, don't curse, and never get mad. That's their personal journey, and I get it. You do what you want to do, but who the hell are you to say anything right or wrong or indifferent of what the other person is doing? You just deal with yourself. You know, if you want to cuss, cuss. And if you don't ever want to get mad, well, I want to see that. And if you don't want to eat meat, whatever. I'm not here to judge anybody. I'm here to take care of myself. You know what I mean? And Pam says the soul truth is the one's own truth, led by their own light. Beautiful, beautiful stuff. Doesn't matter if no one else understands. That's true. Unfortunately, it's like I said though, Pam and Seraphis. You know, the thing is, like we're the living example. So was it John Lennon? Yeah, that said that when there's division and anger, and you fight back in anger, then they know that they have control of you. Now, I think he was talking about, like the leaders of the world and such, but it goes on in our own very family too. If you can just laugh at them and joke around about it and not, like I said, not react by just blowing up in their face, but saying, you know what, I'm taking the time out. I'm going to go to the house. I'll talk to you guys whenever, you know, don't even blow up at them. And then what are they going to do? You know, obviously, a lot of times it pisses them off. My mom used to say, you just kill them with kindness. That really pisses them off because they want control over you. That's the only reason they're bringing on the drama and the bullshit to begin with. You know what I mean? So, like Pam says, it doesn't matter if no one else understands. Labels. Oh, excuse me, man. I just recently ate. Sorry. Labels create differences in separation versus the commonality of love, all universal, one. That's very true. And Sherry Lynn, thank you so much for adding this. Stay in your authenticity of who you are. Don't beat yourself up either. Keep forgiving yourself. Say, okay, so I screwed up today, or I screwed up an hour ago. I'm writing a new chapter. I'm making a new move. I'm starting a new direction. That's all you have to do, and it works out perfectly that way. But yeah, not everybody understands that love, and that's why I keep saying we have to be the ones that say, you know what, we're going to be the living examples. And how can we do that and move forward? And actually, that's some of the stuff that I'm writing about now. And you guys haven't seen it yet, and you won't see it. I'm still working on it. Let's go real quick to what my brother Matthew Thomas says. Hold on. I'm doing the bad stuff now. I'm smoking a cigarette. I don't have any pot. Not that I smoke it, but if I had some, I'd probably light it up just to do it. Anyway, why? Because I'm a rebel. I like to instigate stupid shit sometimes. And see, now I'm going against my own advice, right? Forceful conversation to the majority faith has been the norm of most conquering people. The Crusades, Spanish Inquisition, ethnic cleansing in Germany, missionaries insisting on conversion as a conduit, man, for aid, centuries of hypocrisy, guns, politics, financial systems, religion, all tools of controlling others. Most definitely, brother. Each soul's journey is unique. While you can't find some commonalities in your spiritual group, you must do with what resonates with you. Yeah, and that's just it, Leslie. That's what I'm saying. That's the cool thing about my friends, you know, in our soul family, because they don't, it's not about judging somebody. And if they don't like it, they're not necessarily going to support that part, but they're supporting you. You know what I mean? There's a fine line there. But at the same time, they're also going to call you on your shit if you're doing something wrong. And I don't mind that at all. You know, um, forgiveness for myself is hard to do. Serena, It's not hard at all, honey. All you have to say is, all right, you know what? I forgive myself. Before you forgive anybody else in a situation, forgive yourself. You know, you just, it's a must. That's something that none of us have ever been taught because since we could walk and talk, we've had so many people tell us, you know, when you're a toddler, what's the one word that you hear more than any other word? No, no, don't do that. Don't run. Don't play with a cat's tail. Don't don't pull on a dog's ear. No, don't do this. Don't do that. So we're never told that we're ever doing anything right. And that's why you have kids, you know, in school and in sports and everything else striving to be so good at something, but if their self-esteem is so low, they're probably not performing very well because they were never encouraged or supported at home. And that's part of what's wrong with our society, I think. It all starts from the get-go. Religion is for people who believe in hell. Spirituality is for people who've been there. I've read that one too, Tom, or Matthew. Yeah. I've definitely read that one. Oh, there you go. And you see this? Pam says that she'll be making a visit to the Pittsburgh
Yes.
for your show. That's coming up the 29th, 30th. Hello? She's right across the, she ain't listening to me. See, I hope you guys are listening to me because she's not.
31st.
31st.
March 31st.
March 31st. Okay, times.
11 to 7.
11 to 7.
Spirit.
Check it out. We'll be posting it and everything else. Oh, by the way, while we're doing this, Serapis and Pam and everybody else, put up your contact information because we always want everyone to know where they can get a hold of you. And that way, you know, you can go to bestpsychicsource.com or you can go on there because some of them do shows or live stuff. So make sure you go on there as well. My brother's joined. Hey, bro, what's up? Talked to mom today. They still want to go to North Carolina. I might hitch a ride. Actually, I'm not going to hitch a ride. Okay, sorry, you guys, but I guess she wants me to drive her. Well, somebody, and you know who's going to get stuck with it, to drive her and Dad down because she can't make the drive. Obviously, Dad can't do it. So
that's you.
I guess I'm going to do that. It'd be great if I could, like, catch a motorcycle on the way back and ride home. That'd be cool. That'd be fun. Anyway, oh yeah, and she told me something about you. You didn't tell me on the phone last night either. So everybody send hearts and say hi to my brother Keith. He's an okay guy. He's not bad. Oh, okay. So there's Matthew putting up some stuff. Matthew, make sure you put your information up. Serapis, you too, and keep sharing these things. I have, you know, that's the weird thing. I've been coming on and I'm using multiple devices here for different shows and or different channels and things. I haven't been posting everything the way I was supposed to, or have been in the past. But anyway, there, Patrick's saying hi. Thanks, Pat. Appreciate it. All right. So anyway, what do you guys think again about this whole spiritual correctness thing? Should we be more loving and open to people for who they are and where they're at? Is that part of what unconditional love is? And when they do us wrong or something, or ignore us or whatever the case may be, and we feel hurt about it, should we offer up that advanced forgiveness? I say yes to both of those. And sometimes it's hard to do because your pride wants to get in the way. And, you know, sometimes it bums you out, you know, that's like, man. And it's not something that completely goes away. You know, I mean, you're always going to have something you're going to have to deal with that's going to hurt you in one way or another, as long as you admit that it does. Because if you don't, then you're going to become angry, and the anger is going to be in the way, and that's not a good thing either. So again, then you have to see, okay, how am I portraying myself, but how am I standing in my own truth? Am I in the fear and the negativity, like I was saying earlier, or am I positive in coming from a place of love? How connected am I to my heart? How can I balance out this space between the brain and the heart? How can I bring all of that in? And that there you go. This is respecting everyone's journey, whether you agree with it or not. But like I said, if you feel like you have to, number one, definitely forgive yourself. Forgive them as well. But set up those healthy boundaries so that people don't walk all over you and use you as a doormat. And for crying out loud, the one person that kind of jumped on my case about the foul language and stuff, and she said something, and so we had a little conversation about it, and she had said, John, thank you for actually having an open discussion about it. Obviously, we're not on the same path, but it is similar, and she's talking about this in this way. So she was appreciative of the open communication. I'm thinking that that's the type of thing that we all need to be able to do, not become offended by other people, but to have that open discussion in order to move forward and have that respect of each other's viewpoint, whether you agree with it or not. I think that's probably one of the most important elements in our society that we're missing, because our politicians damn sure don't do it. The world leaders don't do it. I mean, in my opinion, you come to any of the politicians, maybe not every single one of them, but boy, they sound like a bunch of kindergarten kids, fighting in the playground. You just threw them in the sandbox and they're throwing sand in each other's eyes and crying. you know, and you would swear to God that some cat went to the bathroom in the sandbox and one got hit in the face with a pile of shit, because that's exactly the way they act. Oops, there I go with my language again. So, anyway, Rose says she keeps everybody in prayer and everything in prayer. Very much so. One of the things is that this woman said that, there's light and there's dark, but then there's the darkest place where there's no connection to light at all, that it's all completely evil and all this other stuff. Okay, there's some truth to that, but at the same time, if you feel and believe that there is evil, then that's what you're going to get in your life. I don't have bad dreams and fears of things like that, because I don't allow myself to think of it that way. I know that when it comes right down to it, in order to be like Father God, or Creator, or however you want to say it, Sky Father, that is the quote unquote God, knows every depth of light and love and darkness and the shadows. I don't think there's any such thing as evil. I think evilness is created through the ego of the human mind. Other than that, I don't think it exists. It's something that we as a species have created. That's my take on it. So if I don't put my mind in that place, then I don't experience it. Now, that doesn't mean that I don't have some pretty wicked thoughts. But again, like everything else I've admitted about myself to you guys, I have had thoughts, of, man, it'd be so great to just, and I won't use a description, but to that person. And if you wanted to put a word to it, yeah, it's evil. Because anything other than love is a negative, dark place. But I don't, it's the evil, like I said, it's what we can comprehend in our own minds. And when you watch so much that's in the news or on TV, everything has such a negative bent to it that it's like, oh my God, I don't even want to listen to this shit, you know? Let's see. Sabrina said, I got unfriended by a family member the other day over what I posted that they disagreed with. Well, all right. That's, I get it. Serena, that's just a lot of times too, when something upsets these other people, it's something they see in themselves that they know that they have to face and work on. Whether it's a fear or a bias or prejudice or something like that. Acceptance of goodness. I'm sorry. Acceptance of differences is growth. Yeah, and because there's differences, and that acceptance, Pam, is all about change. And guess what? That's what we're in. That's the consistent on the journey is always change. If you're not changing and seeing things differently, or working on different aspects of your life and your journey, then what good is it? Then that means you're just sitting around like you know, a frog on a stump, just, riveting all night by himself, doesn't make any sense. Mother Teresa said, spread love wherever you go. Let no one ever come to you without leaving happier. That's cool. Mother Teresa has some really cool stuff to say. Rose says, I have difficulty with people in my life. They have the choice to stay or walk away. It's a challenge. But you also have, in all honesty, Rose, you have everybody that comes into your life is there for a reason and a season. So a lot of times, if they're only there for a short time, that's all they were needed there for me. For me, I think it's a lot easier. Well, not a lot easier, but it is easier for me because being a military brat, I moved around all the time. I was an only child for 14 years before my brother came along. So I always, had people come in and out of my life. Um, and I can understand why it's difficult for other people. Even my brother, he has like childhood friends. He grew up because by the time he got old enough to go to school and stuff, my dad had retired from the Marine Corps. Where, I moved around all the time with him. So I don't have no idea, even with my brother, of what that is like because he has childhood friends. One of a few of his best buddies from North Carolina when he got married, he traveled in either flying or driving, to attend the wedding. And of course, I knew them, but it was like, wow, that's pretty cool. But I don't know if I'm in touch with anybody that I could do that with. But I think it's great, and it was nice seeing those guys, and meeting their families. It was a lot of fun. So, Matthew, let's see what this says. Ugh. Ooh, I was offended. Look, folks, there's an unfair expectation put on spiritual counselors, healers, clergy, excuse me. Sure, there are general standard of decorum for professional clergy. Let me try to hit. Okay. He wrote a lot here. Hold on. I'm going to find it now. Okay. But there is this thing. The gods have many tools in their toolbox. Some build up, some break down, some are complicated, some are simple and blunt. We are all called to service in a similar manner, but not in the same cookie cutter mold. What's special about each healer is in who they specifically are, from the sweet to the highly offensive. That's right. That's right. Our past that brought us where we are was a lifelong path of challenges and pain conditioning us for our callings. But if someone is unwilling to listen to a healer because they might rub you the wrong way, then you are missing the lesson. Yeah, yeah. So you guys can go back and read that. It's kind of long. Sometimes I have to read over things a couple of different times. But anyway, what time is it?
8:18.
Okay, so wow, that went fast, didn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Hmm. I got on a roll. Sometimes I do because sometimes you guys know that I write down notes and stuff, and other times I don't. And, tonight was just a good topic because there is no such thing as spiritual correctness. There's no reason for you to feel bad because you're not living up to someone else's expectations because it's their expectations, and most likely they're not living up to their own either. So instead of beating themselves up, which they really are, then they attack someone else. That's just the way it works. So don't worry about it. Just forgive yourself, forgive them, and if they do it too many times, um, just tell them about it or unfriend them or ignore them. And then they say, "Well, you treated me like shit. You ignored me." Well, I have some nice rules that I like to play by, like don't judge people, don't force your shit on them, and you were. So you didn't abide by my rules of my game, so you're no longer a player. You know what I mean? Sounds weird, but that's the way I do it. Uh, Mara says, I'm missing your show live, getting home too late these days. Yeah, sometimes these late days they're a bummer. But listen, Mara, the cool thing is, that you can always catch us on the replay. If you got comments or something, or you want to say something, throw them on later because I don't know about you guys, but the notices come up and then I go back and read them. So that's all fine. It's perfect. Matthew's on a roll tonight, you guys. There's no drive-through window for spiritual enlightenment, and you don't get fries with that. Oh my God. Oh, Leslie, now she's starting to talk like my sister.
Uh-huh.
Throat punch them. It really works. Oh my God, I'm a bad influence on you guys. Huh? This is hilarious. I love this stuff. This is great. It says we only got 8 people watching, but I bet there's more. So look, we're gonna run it down here and do a close. Make sure you come back on Thursday night. I'm gonna see if I can get somebody on so we can talk about the full moon because it will be Thursday night. Should be fun. What's coming up for the full moon? What do you feel? Are you beginning to feel the energy now? Because the energy seems to amplify 5 days before, during, and 5 days after, which that makes 11 days. Which another point is that this is an 11/11 moon. So it's pretty interesting. Check out my post online on Facebook, and there is a post of a video talking about this full moon and what's coming. And I'll go back and watch it again tomorrow and then again on Thursday. And we'll talk about that Thursday night on Raw Light in Virgo blooming. Okay, cool. How about this? Seraphis, you're a reader. You're into astrology. How would you like to join me on Thursday night show so that we can discuss the full moon? I think that'd be fun. Let me know. Yes or no? Come on. Come on. I know you're listening because you just posted that. Haven't had you on yet. I got to start thinking of new people. And sometimes, like I want to get Tim McCann on too, but he works later, so somehow or another we got to get him on. Maybe we do it on a weekend or something, or maybe do like a late show kind of thing. All right, so cool. There you go. That's the plan for Raw Light Thursday night. Seraphis, my dear, sweet, loving friend, is going to come and join us, and we're going to talk about the full moon and get everybody happy and geared up for that. Awesome. This is going to be cool. All right, you guys, dare to dream. Thank you so much. She's going to be my moon girl. Right on. That's cool. Good deal. All right. I love you guys. Thank you so much for joining me again on another episode of Raw Light. Think about this. If you have any more comments, or even if you have some posts that relate to it, put them on my wall or send me a message or something. I really want to see them because I think it'd be a lot of fun. Because we just need to tell everybody to just chill out and relax, take a chill pill, right? All right. Thank you so much. We'll catch you Thursday night. Love you all. Take care. Good night.
Did you ever have Reverend Matt?